For our occupation kit, we have a kit with kinetic sand, a bowl, a variety of construction toys such as toy excavators, porta potties, beams, barriers, and we also have an assortment of varied size brushes. This activity can be changed a little bit. The toys can be substituted out for whatever child's favorite toys are. It can really be kind of changed to their liking. For our first activity, we have the child doing a scooping activity using the toys. In this instance, it's going to be the excavators. It's targeting bilateral coordination and integration, overall fine motor skills, and hand-eye coordination, along with their grasping abilities of the toy. A way you can grade this up is to have them transport the sand to a higher up or lower down location or elsewhere in the room. Making it to where they have to really stabilize the sand to make sure it doesn't fall. And a way you can grade it down as well is to make it to where you don't use the toys, you just use their hands. In that instance, they're working on tactile sensations. And yeah. Our next activity is a treasure hunt. For this activity, the child is going to be using their fingers to dig through the kinetic sand to find some hidden toys. This activity is really good for children with visual perception, sensory modulation issues, as it requires them to use figure ground for them to feel different textures and tactile sensitivities of the sand and of the toys. It's good for children with tactile defensiveness, and it can also be good for calming and emotional regulation for them as well. The skills also include in-hand manipulation, as you can also have them do finger to palm translation or seeing how many of the toys they can keep in one hand without dropping, have them keep them all in their one hand while they're picking them up and to hold them in their hand. And here we have the same activity, but this time being used for working on crossing midline. The next activity is kinetic sand grasps and controlled release of the kinetic sand through the fingers. The grasping is working on hand strength, and the controlled release of the sand is working on impulsivity and sequencing, along with following directions, also proprioception a little bit. Something you can do is you can ask them questions as to like how long do you think in seconds that it's going to take for the sand to fall, asking if it's moving fast or slow, basically getting them to sustain their attention. It's also good for sensory modulation as well for children that might be tactile defensive because they're going to be feeling the sand, and it can also be calming and good for emotional regulation as well. This also works for tactile discrimination as well. Ask them how it feels, and it works on interoception awareness. The next activity is letter and shape writing with toy beams. This one works on pre-writing strokes and also handwriting abilities, letter and shape recognition as well as recall, bilateral coordination, reinforcement of hand dominance, and overall improvement of fine motor function. It can also be used to work on memory and executive functioning, along with following directions and sustaining attention by telling them which ways to go in the sand when drawing, such as like up, down, right, left, in that order. And this activity can be graded up or down, downwards by making it to where they can use their finger in the sand, and upgraded to where they have to follow 3-step directions. The next activity is for matching toys. You can have the items in front of the child in order to have them visually memorize them and recreate it from memory. Also having them tap on each matching toy from side to side, which is working on force modulation to accurately touch or tap each toy, and also rhythm as well. You can work on rhythm and timing by using a metronome, so they have to tap at the same time of each beat. And overall, it works on fine motor coordination and overall fluidity of movement. The next activity is a memorization game, and it works on visual memory and recall, and you can grade it by adding more items to grade it up or reducing the amount of items or toys to grade it down. The final activity is archaeologist brushing, utilizing varied size brushes from large to small to brush away the kinetic sand and to reveal the treasures underneath. And this works on graded muscular control and force modulation, as you can't just brush lightly on the sand in order to reveal. You have to apply gentle, forceful pressure. You have to be able to know how much force to apply. Grasping patterns of the brushes as well are good for eating and handwriting. skills, as well as task persistence, bilateral coordination, stabilizing from holding the bowl as well as problem solving. All of the activities within this kit also work on sitting tolerance, from sitting the whole time during the activity, and also maintaining upright sitting tolerance. Our occupation kit is recommended for children ages 3 and older, with supervision and guidance. And that's the end. Thank you very much for watching.